People often say that destiny shows up unexpectedly. But sometimes destiny arrives in the form of a quiet girl with trembling hands and a disabled man with a heart stronger than the body that carries it. This is the story of two broken worlds colliding, not in tragedy, but in kindness. The story. The trailer park on the edge of Rowanville always smelled like rain-soaked metal and burning firewood. Children ran barefoot, dogs barked freely, and the air always carried a sense of longing, as if dreams hung from the sky, but no one dared touch them. In trailer number 16 lived Leora Ames, a shy 19-year-old girl with soft hazel eyes, a whisper-quiet voice, and an innocence the world had failed to harden. She worked part-time at a grocery store, often hiding behind shelves when customers yelled. She had learned early that staying unnoticed was the safest way to survive. Her mother, Janelle, was chronically ill, unable to work. Medical bills had swallowed everything they owned. Loan sharks knocked at their door more often than relatives ever had. One night, as thunder shook the flimsy walls, Leora overheard her mother crying on the phone. "Please, we'll lose everything. I don't know what else to do." Years of fear tightened in Leora's chest. She stepped forward. "Mom, tell me what happened." Janelle hesitated, her voice fragile as tissue paper. "There's someone who offered a solution." Leora frowned. "What kind of solution?" Her mother's eyes glistened with guilt. "A marriage." The words sliced through the air. "To whom?" Leora whispered. Janelle swallowed. "To a CEO. His family is offering money. Enough to save us." Leora felt the ground vanish beneath her feet. "Marriage? To a stranger? What's wrong with him?" she asked softly. Her mother hesitated too long. "He's disabled," she finally said. "A spinal injury. He can't walk. His family says he needs someone gentle, someone obedient." Leora felt sick. "So they want a nurse?" "No," Janelle whispered, voice cracking. "They want someone they can control." The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush bone. But debt had long strangled every choice they had. 2 days later, Leora stood outside a towering mansion made of glass and polished stone, the home of the Winver family, owners of one of the city's most powerful corporations. Inside, she finally met him. Callum Winver, 32. Dark hair, storm gray eyes, a sharp jaw softened only by exhaustion. He sat in a sleek wheelchair, his hands resting motionless on the armrests. He didn't look like a man searching for a wife. He looked like a man searching for his lost life. Leora bowed nervously. Hello." Callum studied her quietly. "You didn't want this," he said softly. She jerked in surprise. I'm here to help." He gave a humorless smile. "My family wants someone to babysit me. Someone poor enough not to question anything." His honesty stunned her. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because you look kind." The word struck her heart. Callum's mother, Maristelle Winver, swept forward in heels that clicked like accusations. "Good, introductions are done. Let's proceed. The marriage is purely formal. You'll do as you're told. No speaking to the press. And absolutely, no interfering with company matters." Callum flinched but remained silent. Leora felt her fists clench. Something was terribly wrong here. Still, within a week, they were married in a private ceremony. No guests, no music, no flowers. Just signatures and silence. Leora moved into his room, a room filled with medical equipment, untouched books, and windows that hadn't been opened in months. The air felt suffocated, as though even hope had been locked out. One night, while adjusting his blanket, she whispered, "You don't deserve this." Callum turned his head away. "None of us got what we deserved. The kindness that changed everything." Days blended into one another until Leora found small ways to bring light into Callum's life. She opened windows. She read to him. She laughed softly at his sarcastic comments. She sat beside him during storms, when memories of the accident tormented him. One evening he muttered, voice trembling, "I was supposed to run a marathon next month." Leora's fingers brushed his. "You'll run again one day." He looked at her, startled. Do you believe that? I believe in you, she said simply. For the first time, warmth touched his face. Their kindness toward each other, hesitant at first, began turning strangers into confidants. But not everyone approved, especially his mother and older brother, Hadrian Winver, who watched Leora with cold, calculating suspicion. One night, Leora overheard them whispering in the study. "This girl is too curious," Maristelle hissed. "She might find the documents," Hadrian warned. "It doesn't matter," she replied. "Callum will sign whatever we put in front of him." Leora's blood ran cold. Documents? Sign? Against his will? She stepped closer. Too close. A floorboard creaked. Maristelle's eyes snapped to the door. "Who's there?" Leora fled silently into the darkness, heart pounding. Something was deeply wrong, and she had just stumbled into a secret big enough to destroy them all. And maybe save Callum. Sometimes the weakest person carries the strongest truth. And sometimes, a girl the world calls nothing becomes the one brave enough to expose an empire built on lies. The story continues. Leora barely slept after overhearing the conversation. Fear twisted inside her, but so did determination. Callum deserved freedom, not a forced life signed away behind his back. The next morning, she pushed his wheelchair into the garden for fresh air. "Callum," she murmured, "has your family asked you to sign anything recently?" He stiffened. "They always do. Agreements. Transfers. Decisions I no longer get to make. Do you read them?" A shadow darkened his features. "They tell me it's routine." Leora inhaled sharply. "Callum, what if it's not?" He studied her face, her trembling lips, her worried eyes, and his heart clenched. "Leora, what did you hear?" She hesitated. "I think they're planning something involving your company. Something big. And I think they're hiding it from you." Callum's jaw tightened. "My mother would never." But he stopped. Because even he didn't believe it. He swallowed painfully. "Help me," he whispered. "Please." The rawness in his voice shattered her heart. "I will," she promised. "Even if it scares me." The lies unravel. Leora began quietly searching the mansion. Drawers, shelves, locked cabinets. Days passed. She found nothing. Until one night, while dusting, she bumped a stack of books in Hadrian's office. One fell open. A folder was hidden inside. Her blood chilled. Inside were forged medical documents claiming Callum was mentally unfit to run the company. Signatures that weren't his. And a power of attorney transfer, naming Hadrian as the next CEO. Her breath shook. They're stealing everything from him. But the last page made her knees weaken. A contract stating that after the transfer, Callum would be moved into a long-term care facility. Not because he needed it, but because he would be in their way. Leora grabbed the documents and ran. The confrontation. Callum stared at the papers, hands trembling. This can't be real." "They forged your signature," Leora whispered. "They were going to take everything." His eyes burned with betrayal. "My own family." Leora knelt beside him. "You're not alone anymore." Before Callum could respond, the office door slammed open. Maristelle and Hadrian stormed inside. "What do you think you're doing?" Maristelle shrieked. Hadrian lunged toward Leora, but Callum shouted, "Don't touch her." For the first time, Callum's voice wasn't resigned. It was powerful. Hadrian sneered. "And what will you do? You can't even stand." "No," Callum said, eyes blazing. "But she can." Leora stepped forward, courage rising like wildfire. "These documents prove everything. And the board will see them." Maristelle's face drained of color. "You foolish girl. Who will believe a nobody from a trailer park over US?" "One person," Leora said softly, "who matters more than any of you." Hadrian scoffed. "Who?" "Callum." Silence slammed into the room. Callum's voice grew calm, deadly calm. "Mother." "Hadrian, you're both done. If you step in my way again, you'll lose far more than this company." Maristelle's lips trembled. "You're choosing her?" Callum looked at Leora. Really looked at her. The girl who opened his windows, brought back his hope, and risked everything to save him. Yes, he whispered. I am the strength to stand. Days later, after the board terminated all powers of his family, Callum was left alone in the mansion, free, but burdened. Leora sat beside him. You did the right thing, he answered quietly. I couldn't have done it without you. Then, with trembling determination, Callum placed both hands on the chair's armrests. Leora, there's something I haven't tried in months. She watched, heart pounding. Slowly, painfully, he pushed. His muscles shook violently. His breath hitched. Then, he lifted himself. Not fully, not steadily, but enough. Leora gasped, covering her mouth. You're getting stronger? Callum looked at her with tears in his eyes. You gave me something no therapy ever did, he whispered. You gave me a reason. Leora felt her heart melt completely. I'm not going anywhere, she whispered. You're not alone anymore. Callum reached for her hand, not because he needed support, but because he wanted her touch. Their fingers intertwined. I don't want this marriage to be a contract, he murmured. I want it to be real. If you'll let it. She smiled through tears. It already is.